A valuable product lies buried in the hills surrounding Anyi, for it is there that underground deposits of salty brine lay hidden. If the brine is pumped to the surface and evaporated in kettles under big fires, the product is crystallized salt. Surely it is a gift from the dragon. It is past time for the government to take control of this lucrative industry so that more people can enjoy the delicious flavor that salt adds to the daily meal. Go to Anyi, locate the salt deposits, and construct salt mines. Open trade with the distant cities of the Zhou kingdom, for most have already acquired a taste for salt that is not easily satisfied. Ceramics and bronze can be imported from Hao, for the hills of Anyi, though rich in many ways, lack these commodities.
A much different focus for this scenario in Anyi than our last one, as we really don't have to worry much about military here. Got to do some trading back and forth to get everything that we need, and salt is what we're going to learn about as our new resource. Anyi is a fairly large map, and it presents some unique logistical challenges that we haven't really dealt with before. There actually isn't a ton of great farmland that will be enough for what we need. And down here on top of this mountain, southeast corner, this is the salt area. But there's a bit of an issue. The reason this map has an asterisk is the fact that we can't get up here without knocking out some of the trees, no matter which direction you do that. So we'll get to that, and the fact that we need to mine all the salt down here and then go down this hill to where the rest of the city is also going to provide some significant challenges for us. We are forward now to 1022. We have used almost half of our initial allotment of 8,800 cash. And Anyi is right here. So we have Anyang and Khufu. Trade agreements with them already. I've sent emissaries out to everyone else, including Hao, who is southwest of us. And we have a farm here, a hemp farm here. Only cabbage and millet are available to farm, so we're actually going to trigger the hemp here first, because the season will start sooner. So a bit of an unusual food-making beginning as everybody traipses through. Another problem that we're going to have on this map is salamanders, because they're not here yet. They're going to have salamanders in this area. They're going to try to prey on our people, and we can see them more clearly over here. This is also going to be a problem for salamanders. And we're going to have to combat them with watchtowers. But, fun fact, over here I can't do this without violating my rules, because there are no decent feng shui places back here. So we're going to lose some immigrants from time to time. We're just going to have to put up with that. Now that first farm is here. You can see our emissaries going out. Second farm over here. I'm going to have just enough housing that I'm actually going to need 2 of them to satisfy our food needs. Then we'll have extra. But the spacing of this, I had to work it out pretty carefully and reassess, because initially I wanted to have my housing up here, because this isn't very good farmland, so let's take the bad farmland and do housing on it. But I ended up moving it down here because of a spacing issue. If we look over here where our salt is, the greatest volume of salt is going to be delivered to our trading posts. So I'm going to want trading stations then up here so that the salt can get there quickly and the salt mines can keep running and they're not stopping and being idle because they're waiting for the carts to go back and forth. But I also want to use salt as a food product, particularly since we just have the 2 crops, plus we also have good hunting with pheasant here and more pheasant in this general area somewhere. There they go. So to deliver the salt as quickly as possible to the mill then, I've got to have the mill as close to this area as I can, but obviously I can't put it up here on the hill. There's no room for housing here. If I haul it down the hill, well, that's going to slow down salt as it is, but really no getting around that. There's no good feng shui for mills on this side of the river. So I'm putting the mill here, which is why the housing has to be here, because I'm going to put the market here, and if I put the market and housing, say, up too far that direction, then we're going to have trouble delivering food effectively. So just the spacing of everything on this map was one of, if not the most challenging ones to deal with so far, and maintain our perfectly optimal feng shui. Got some people coming in. Let's get this inspector's tower going, and then the hemp will be turned on next. I think we've got some movement over here. Yep, here comes the salamanders. So every once in a while, they like this area down here, but they will journey up to the road and munch on some wonderfully appetizing people. Let's get you rolling. And then we'll move to the farms next. I think I'll actually only do one farm, though, to start with. Just so we can have a more diverse, food crop for the first year. Okay, we have Hao agreeing to trade with us. Others saying no. The nomad camps, as always, say no. Ping Yang is joining. Shu is saying no, but that takes us up already, without even doing any haggling, to 4 trading partners. That's going to be plenty. So we're just going to deal with them the rest of the way. It's just about time to start farming, and you're ready to come up. So we'll go ahead and do that. Oh, looks like we're just one person short. And then we're just going to wait to get enough. Because I would like to get one hunter's area going as well. But we will need more people for that. Unrest Rising, we'll get to that. We've just got other priorities first. I'm going to take you down here in just a moment. There we go. Now we should have enough workers. And then we'll get our mill up and running, which is going to be a little bit iffy. There's actually just enough room to fit this in with an inspector. So you're going to start us off. And I need it to be as close as possible. Which is going to be right there. Okay. So you're going to jog over this way. And then come down along here. Market Square. And then it's time for one of our very dumbest looking sets of gates here. Okay, so this one, I want the inspectors to go through, but not the market employees. And then this one, I need to make sure that the market employees aren't coming out this way. Then both of them have to be able to go through this one. And then I want the inspector to stop before it comes any further this way. So, if I have those all set correctly, this will work. There we go. He's walking down here. Let's see how far he gets. And then he turns around. So there's just enough room to do this and put this mill down here, which I don't actually have quite enough workers for, but they're coming in, so we'll have more soon. You've already got some meat ready for us. The hunting is indeed good. All right, there we go. Now we are going to throw up our mill right here. And then you are going to accept 4 types. There it is. And we can get up our food shop. And now I need to get my ancestral shrine. Yeah, we have plenty. As the people continue to come in. So that once everybody has food and their religious services, they will be able to upgrade housing some there. Then definitely, yes, we know we don't have enough food. We'll fix that. Let's definitely get our watchtower going. And we need a warehouse, so we're going to add some fun over here. So until I do that, the hemp is going nowhere. And then here, we are going to take hemp. And we actually can't trade it with anybody. Nobody wants hemp in this area. So we're going to just have to accept that as it is. Later, I'm going to want some other things too. I'm going to want some wood. And I want to accept some overflow food here. Cabbage and millets only. The meat and the salt, I plan on selling any extras. We should have a very high volume of those, so that shouldn't be a problem. And there's not a lot of other items that we're going to want to bring in and store, so I think actually this warehouse is going to suffice for our needs, at least for quite a while. And you're going to come over here and start buying up some food. And we're bringing some from the farm. I want that second farm going next year. But I don't need it yet. A hemp shop would probably be useful, though. There we go. People starting to boost up. But we need more food, which is gradually trickling its way in. And then I want to deal with this. Because I'd like to turn on this to give us some more food, but salamanders are going to be a problem. So I'll start out with Inspector. You're just going to come down this way. And then I'm going to put a couple of watchtowers here to deal with these wonderful critters. And I can fit, I think, one of them now. Just barely missed getting hit there, because they will munch on our inspectors and enjoy every bit of that meal. There we go. And we have two of them, so that they're constantly moving back and forth in this area. And our first year is up. Past civic repression? What on earth are you talking about? But notice they killed this salamander. 2 salamanders at once can actually knock down a guard, but that's really unlikely to happen. So, we're not going to have a perfect scenario here, but we should be able to knock out most of them. Okay, we're going to turn on this hunter's tent. And then we're going to grab that other farm. With more people as they continue to come in. And we will need to provide additional services, of course. We'll need to get music here, etc. But right now, I just want to... We should have enough probably to bump you up a level to plain as your standard fare. Not appetizing yet, but we'll get there. And technically speaking, I wouldn't really need to use salt in the city, but I want to do that. I want to use some of it for ourselves. So, you are going to get to work. And now I want to work towards the government, so we're waiting for logging labor. We're pretty close to. Should be able to do it now. This is a nice little place for it, I think. You can get some of these trees over here, trees up this way. There's plenty for you to cut down. Then I think, where are we at on people coming in? Still plenty of room for people, so I really don't need to go music, I don't think. just yet. What I'm going to do is just go with the governmental side. As soon as we get enough of you here. A few more. And we'll be able to put up our administrative city. So you can fit right in there. That's an area we're already patrolling, both sides of actually, with our inspectors, so all that should work great. Tax office here. And this should really put us in a very nice position. And now we have more people strolling in. Let's get our music school up. I'm going to put that up here. Let's make sure that we're getting our herbalist. But to go beyond that, we are going to need to start importing some things. And to make that work, we have got to make our journey up the mountain. So this is why, again, we've got the asterisk. We cannot make it through the trees without cutting some of them down. Not to get good feng shui, but just to get through the trees. So this and this path can go up, and this one here, and then these two here. And you go all the way along. And you're just not going to find any other ways up. So this is the place. So I'm just going to take these here, which are pretty much in a straight line. And we are going to not do any more than we need to, really, for the most part. We're just going to cut a path that we can put roads through. One little spot here will allow us to get through, but you can see just the very interesting path up the hill. And it continues up to the final level. And then we need to actually get rid of a little bit more here. There we are. And now we have to decide, well, what are we going to do now that we're up here? The first trading post I'm going to put over here. There's room for one. That's going to be How, which is going to give us the imports that we need. And then we'll give them an inspector. Plenty of nice places for inspectors up in this area. So that, at least, is a positive. With all the rocks. And then we can cut you off here. Now eventually, we're going to want to import bronze and ceramics. But we don't want to do that yet. We're going to sell any extra meat or salt that we may have to you. That's our initial goal in this case. And we jumped the gun a bit on our workers. Not by much, though. We'll solve that problem momentarily. Now we do have the possibility for a couple of exports to make money as well. We can get bronzeware. We'll have to import the clay and the bronze in order to do that. We can make jade. We'd have to import the jade for that. And then, of course, salt is going to be a very big priority for us in this area. All right. So we should have enough people here now. And I could, if I wanted to, I could grab a salt mine in here. And that's actually probably not a bad idea. So let's go ahead and do that. So 17 people for each. Just gradually make our way up through. And we'll put more salt mines up once we get that direction. Just enough there to get that inspection. Interesting little historical note about salt. There's a quite common myth in terms of just exactly how valuable and the use of salt as a currency in the ancient world. It's often said that the Romans would pay their soldiers in salt, that it was salt money. Now, our word for salary does come from the Roman salarium, which is related to their word for salt, but that's about as far as that goes. We don't actually have any evidence they paid their soldiers in salt, and the price in, say, early Roman Republic times, 200-300 BCE, for a pound of salt was about a 20th of the daily wages of a soldier. So it's possible they were given some small allotment for salt or something like that. But the salt trade in Roman times, there was the Salt Road, all of that really happened. But it was really more of a volume type of thing than a case of, the Romans getting a specific allotment for salt or actually being paid in salt. And the phrase, worth your salt as a matter of general competency in whatever your field of expertise is, whatever your profession is, that is sometimes said to have come from Roman times. We actually don't have any evidence of that phrase being used until the mid-19th century. So I thought that was kind of interesting and something I had learned because I had a misconception about that going in and, well, had to be corrected. So all of that being what it is, it doesn't change the fact that salt is by far the most common preservative and seasoning that's been used historically. But I think what's going on here is actually a pretty darn good example of it, because we're talking about something that's just being produced in high volume, and that's definitely going to be our goal here. The reason I wanted to get salt going quickly is that we are going to have some requests for it, and also, just of course, if you look at our objectives, 28 in a year. So that's going to take a number of these salt mines to do. I think we'd probably need 4 in order to do that, but we're going to go higher. Now, the rest of our trade needs to happen over here. So I'm going to get in an inspector. Let's see. I think that's probably about as good as anything. And let's see what our other options are. So we have Pingyang. You're going to sell us jade and buy salts of the useful items to us. Anyang, not really selling us anything we want, but you're going to buy the carved jade. We're going to want you. And Khufu's going to sell us jade, and they're going to buy salt and bronzeware. So I think Khufu's my next choice, and then Anyang, and then Pingyang will be last. So we're just going to work this along here. And come out this way. That will be our trading area. And then I'm going to get one more. We are going to trade Anyang. So, we're going to buy your jade. We're going to start just at 4. We're going to sell salt. And then we are going to sell carved jade. If we have some extra wood, you can have that. If we have meat, you can have that. I'm not going to buy anything from you. Then, nope, new year. We're going to ignore that for the moment. We're going to go to the Jade Carver Studio. And not sure where I want to put these. Because over here isn't great. I'm eventually going to want to put some more things up in this area. You know what? Let's just get that set. Let's put up an inspector, say, here. And then a road that's eventually going to come back this way. I don't want you to go too far, so I'll be holding off there. And actually, I'm probably just going to bring this right up here. let's get a handle on where our salt mine locations are here. Yeah, that's not going to work. This is going to work right here. Okay, that's where we're going to want to be. Let's see exactly how far that's going to go. Yeah, right there. So you can come along this way. Something like that should work. And then I won't want you to go any further back than, say, here. Okay. Then we can have... You can be right at the end here. That should work. Put these two up. And at that point, I think I'm going to hold off and try to make some money. And just gradually boost up our salt and our jade efforts. I eventually want to work in some other items, but we need to start importing to boost our population up. We're going to need to start importing the ceramics first, and then eventually bronze. Now, these do not like the situation that we're in. And I'm eventually going to improve the desirability here by putting up some statues, but I may want to reconsider the way I do my blocks. But part of it, I think, is just I don't have this enclosed with walls here. That also helps a little bit. Or I could try to move some walls in a little closer next time. I'm not sure. We've got a very nice food supply situation going here, though. They are being delayed with the salt going down the hill, but once that actually catches up, then we'll be doing fine for a while. And we've got to wait for all of our stuff to come in at this stage. 1,200 isn't bad. I'd like to get some more income in, if we can. And there we go. You went down, but now we're going to take you down. So, the never-ending battle of the salamanders continues. That extra meat being hauled up this way. So basically that slows down our meat production, but it only happens when this is full of meat. When this slows down on meat, we'll stop selling it, and they'll be able to deliver here faster. So that seems to balance out pretty reasonably. More salt going down the hill. And there we go, buying some jade, so that's going to suck up some of our cash. I think I'm actually going to want 3 of these, but 2 is okay for now. Third year begins, and I think we've got enough cash now. I'm going to bring in some ceramics. Just a few at a time at first, but let's get that rolling. I also want to try to boost this area. I want to get some sculptures in here, just for some more desirability. How about a noble sculpture? We'll take one of those. Soldier? Nope. There we go. That should just help some of this. Let's see about this area over here. Alright, that'll work. Throw some more gardens in. Let's make sure that I get my additional shops up. Let's have food in there to boost that. Price increase for ceramics. And once again, as we've noticed in the past, I'm going to put it down my ceramics shop. But as we've noticed in the past, it doesn't actually seem to change the price, so I don't know if it's actually charging me. It's still sitting here at 75. But whatever, I'm just going to accept whatever happens with that. You need to get our ceramics in and hold some there, because it's going to be way too far away at the trading depot to bring it to the market. And then let's go back to giving some things away. And we should be able to boost up to appetizing easily at this point. Just need to wait for our ceramics to come in. And the continuing battles with our wonderful salamanders. And another one bites the dust. Well done. The thankless job you have there, but you're doing it well. So our first load of ceramics making its way, long journey from the trading post to the warehouse. But once it gets there, be able to have some fun. Okay, unemployment is being handled, going up a little bit with our labor force. So let's go ahead and drop in an acupuncturist right over here. And no. We don't have a lot of money left, but I am going to try. These aren't very expensive anyway. And just do what we can there. Make everybody as happy with where they're living as possible. But yeah, okay, we're now down to 600. We're just standing pat where we are and waiting to make more money. Got some jade over here, so we just need somebody to come in and buy it. And we will be fine. Salt's continuing to be produced. We did already have to give one set of 5 or 6 canisters, I think it was, to Ho. But, you see, we're stockpiling it here, so producing much more than we need and heading in the right direction there. And we made it to market, or the warehouse rather, so our buyer is going to come out and grab the ceramics. And now our cash is looking much better. Let's add one additional salt mine for now. I'm going to want more, but one for the moment. I think we want to move this roadblock to there. Probably should start bringing in as well. Bring in bronze. And then let's bring in some clay. Yeah, I should be selling my millet here, too. There isn't any place for me to sell my cabbage. I'm just going to need a little bit of bronze, a little bit of clay for producing weapons and bronzeware. And then let's make sure that we're storing our backup millet here before we sell it. Then cabbage and hemp. Yes, cabbage and hemp are what we're going to continue to give away.
And adds new knowledge is fit to be a teacher.
Willing to buy more salt. I'm definitely willing to sell you as much as you're willing to buy. We'll keep ramping that up as much as we can. May not be worth a lot individually, but it is definitely worth quite a bit in the big picture of volume. And actually, they never buy that much at once, so I think leaving that at 12 is probably best. And then it can distribute more of the salt to the other areas, and then it can store up more here after they buy it, so. Yeah, it looks like we are now operational with our ceramics. So we just need more people strolling in. Let's see how our goals are doing. Yeah, only produced half the salt we need, so some of that was just transportation delays and stocking up our mill. Four operational mines right now, and I'm not happy with that. I'm going to want more. People coming in, traders coming in, all kinds of positive activity. Just over 1,000 population already. And I am going to want an acrobat here to really max out my housing, but let's go and do that as soon as we get some more workers in here. I think it's about time. I'd like to throw you down here somewhere, but I don't think that's going to work. Nope. None of this? You don't like any of those locations. You like the rocks. I'm going to come up here, and right there should be fine. Because this is a very short route. So extending it a little bit more is not going to be a problem. Alright, more people in, but cash fluctuating. I'm going to hold off. We're going to have some unemployment here for a bit, but I'm going to wait. How much do these cost anyway? Yeah, $270. They're a decent price for the salt mines. They've brought in some clay. And I think the next thing I want to do anyway is really make sure that we get our forts going. Let's go ahead and give you that. Make sure we get plenty of immigration going by doing our donation. Okay, hemp is backing up. Hemp is pretty much always backing up, to be frank. Once again, somebody please come buy my jade. Yes, 6 of them. Doing very well over there. Come buy it. Another group of ceramics leaving. Price increase for salt. Looks like we just had a buyer. Yes, indeed we did. Alright, yeah, 2,600. Now we can do some things here with our labor. Let's drag this through. Let's do one more over here if we can. Not there. Right there'll work, okay. So now we're up to 6 salt mines. I want Jade Carver here. Our third one, just to make sure we're using it all, and let's make sure we're buying it all also. They haven't sold any to us yet this year. I just want to make sure that we can get our full amount and turn it around, so. And I forgot about my weaponsmith. Really need to do that. Alright, so I'm going to put you down over here if there's any good locations. Looks like there are. Get a fort rolling. Right over here on these rocks somewhere. That'll work.
You're okay. Try it again. Concentrate.
And that should handle, eventually, our military need. It'll take a while to move the bronze down here, but it's better that way because of how much the cart will be able to carry at once than to have to produce the weapons way up there and then have cart them all the way down to the forge, so... $1,400. Cash is looking pretty good. I want to start saving up some more, but then I will hit bronzeware and possibly even more salt, depending on how this goes. I like how we're doing, though, at the moment. And then we get an earthquake. Not a fan of that. This is a random, well, not random, but a scripted disaster. And naturally random variable damage. Okay, so we have some housing situations, but let's make sure everything else is decent, or if it isn't, what we need to replace. So that is fine. Our mill was destroyed. That sucks. Okay, that has to go first. The mill has to come back up. Might be a little careful on spending cash otherwise, but the mill is going to be replaced. Okay. Then how about up here? Okay. I'm actually not going to replace this salt mine yet. I'll just clear up the mess. And that's it. Alright, now our housing. So, who did we lose? Just get rid of the bad rubble, not anything else, if we can try to avoid it. Okay. 1,400 cash. Let's get these back up. So that's 9 housing plots. That's probably a good solid third at least of our population went away. Yeah, we're under 1,000 here. Okay, we're not spending anything else for the time being. We are going to drop our industry down a level as well. There's hardly any people there, but that way everything else will get done. We just got to rebuild back up here. And take it slow. And of course we'll get a wave of immigration, then they'll evolve, we'll get another wave. It's going to take some time to get all of this in. And until then, pretty big worker shortage going on. And of course, any salt we do produce is going to have to go back down to the mill for now. Well, it will if I actually reset the mill's settings, which I didn't do. Let's do that. Yeah. There is still food in the market, though. If it had taken down our shops in the market, then I would have really been in some pain. And yeah, cash is not high at the moment. We are slowly climbing out of our shortfall. Thank you. Thank you for buying my jade. Now I'm not worried about cash, really, just getting the people back in. And we are starting to have our first resettlers after hundreds of people were either rendered homeless or flat out killed in that earthquake. Not fun. A fact of life, but still not fun. Alright, I think I can probably afford to eliminate this. And I do want to keep that logging industry up at some level. Even though it's going to short me even more on workers, because we do need the wood. Without the wood, I mean, we still have it stored, but
And as new knowledge is fit to be a teacher.
I don't have 8 canisters of salt because we just had an earthquake. And they just bought up everything that we had stored. Great. And salamander attack on this path, which is really rare. They like cross over here. But they do occasionally cause problems. I guess I could try to put a watchtower there. Then I would need another inspector. And if I didn't get the timing right, then they might end up chewing on some people anyway. So I'm just going to sort of let that go. But this salamander over here, when they come up this direction, it's actually quite interesting because they won't come up any further than this. So I'm actually far enough away that their roaming range, they're not going to hit what I'm doing. Bunch of traders. We don't have any cabbage stored at the moment, so we'll give you some more hemp. Because we're restocking our mill. Yeah, sticking on appetizing. You're really full on food now, so this is going to catch back up. And another group of immigrants gradually trying to refill our industries. Still very weak, though. Nope, not this year. So this is just taking a long time to recover from. But now I think we have over half of our industry labor. Yeah. Okay, with the new year, let's check our goals. Cash is once again getting tight. We did at least hit our salt production goal despite all of that unpleasantness. And we made a profit. Not enough of one. So we could probably give you away some cabbage. Yeah.
And as no knowledge is fit to be a teacher.
Few dozen yet. Just inching our way.
Confucius says, "He who keeps the old akimbo,
You gibbering buffoon!"
knowledge is fit to be a teacher."
Yeah. Let's see if we have enough. We do. 7 in storage. We do not have enough. We're close, though. As soon as we get some more salt. Yeah, as soon as these make it down. It's like, do you know the meaning of the word earthquake, pal? Without that, we would have had plenty to give you. Alright, now let's see if we can do it. Yep. Okay. Now we have to refill this again, but it should keep us in reasonably good stead with them. What's our relationship like? Yeah, agreeable. Even if it knocks them down a little bit that we delayed, we should be able to keep that trade intact. And of course, those demands coming from our trade partner that we critically need for our bronze and ceramics is not a coincidence, I am sure. Starting to build up our military, at least. Yep, they're less happy with us, but at least we got it done. So, respectful. I can live with that. That's going to be okay. We're going to maintain our trade relationship. Cash is holding out okay, but not fantastic. More people streaming in. We've got room for hundreds. I don't know if they're coming in the hundreds, but they are gradually moving in. And we're back up to full employment. It took like a year, literally a year. July of 18 is when we had that earthquake. So let's not do that again, if we can avoid it. And also, let's keep a solid amount in the bank, so if it does happen again, we can handle it. But I'm hoping that'll be our only setback. Yeah, not a lot of anything over here right now. So we're just gonna stick with it. I think this is another solid jade buyer for us. Okay. Now we're looking better. Get some more unemployment and we can expand our operations. But we need a few more people. They're just gradually filtering in. We're not really going to get a huge profit until we start getting the rest of our infrastructure in place. Alright. Let's do another salt mine. Replace the one that went down a while ago. And I think that's everything that I want to do here. I'm going to build another section over this way. Yeah, I think right there. And then something like, yeah, get you to reset here in a minute. 1400, that's a little tight. But let's begin getting some bronzeware. I want more, but that's just a starting point. Okay. Then I'm going to sell it. Now, I can't import any more bronze from anywhere else, so I've just got to stick with what you can give me. But you can bring in the clay over here and you can start working. Bronze, not that great in terms of profit, because we need some clay, only 25. And the bronze, I think, is like 80 or something like that. Yeah. And then we're going to get 180, so it's not as profitable as the jade is, but it's something else that's reasonably valuable that we can produce. Peasants demand a raise. Great. I assume that's going to make my labor budget go up. You know, I probably should have done the festival to make everybody happy. Although, with restocking the food, I don't know. I'll do a festival next year. Really make sure that we drive that, and then probably make that be the last one. You can have some hemp.
Ow!
You're okay. Try it again. Concentrate. Confucius says, the old Achilles and adds new knowledge.
Like where we are on the soldiers. And eventually the weaponsmith will stop using bronze. And it'll all go to the bronzeware. I think probably 2 bronzeware makers is what I'll go with here. Depending on where population ends up. So we're starting these. A little more bronzeware, a little more salt, and then I think I just make as much profit as I can off of what we're making. We're not going to be getting a lot more people in anyway. They're just trickling. Khufu wants salt. We are just so popular with that. I do also have one additional trading station I could put up. Let's go ahead and do that. I think this is just going to be another salt cellar. Well, I mean, I could sell extra weapons. I don't want to do them now. Plus, weapons are not as good of a profit item as bronzeware. So I actually don't think I want to do that at all. And I don't want to buy any of your stuff. If I bought jade, I wouldn't be able to sell it. Because we only have the one buyer, so we're just going to stick with it. Keep ramping up that salt industry, and you're another buyer for it. Okay. Cash is looking good. Let's go here and bring you around the top side. One more. I think we'll go with that, and then add another bronzeware. And that should get us to a really good employment number. Then we just try to print money for a while. We still have not hit our profit goals. But they are coming. Khufu's happy. Excellent. So what does that leave me at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 salt mines. If that's not enough, I think we've got a problem. Alright, our housing is maxed as we reach about to turn the new year. We have just a few unemployed. To reach that situation, I did add a second bronze ore maker, also added a 9th salt mine. So my goal here is then I'm going to run the festival at the beginning of 10/15 next month. And then after that, just save up cash. We've got over 10,000 that we need to make. And that's probably not going to be a super short process. On the other hand, now that I'm not spending any more money on infrastructure, I'm hopeful that we will be successful. And yes, hold the festival. Okay, so 23.29, that's our starting point. Almost made the profit, not quite. 52 canisters of salt, almost twice what we need. And we're actually going to be going up from there. 10:14 arrives, and it looks like we made about 4,000. Yes. 53 canisters of salt. We're pretty much maxing out our storage areas for the salt that we can sell. Not quite over here yet. But if that pace continues and we don't pick it up this year, looks like we've got about 2 more years of spam selling to reach our goal. Well, we actually had profits slightly down, just over 10,000. So we'll stick with this final year and see how this goes. Now, one of the problems is just the length of the journeys that need to be made from some of these trading posts, even putting them in the best places I could find. Every once in a while, one of the bronzeware makers will shut down, and they'll have to wait for more supplies. Partly the busy trading posts. How trading posts, we got 4 different products going and coming, and when it has to deliver ceramics down to the warehouse, then the bronze deliveries get behind. It's been sort of an intermittent thing. And then Khufu's probably even busier. Jade, clay, millet, salt, bronzeware, all of this coming in. But still, all in all, it's running pretty well. And we'll just crank this up a notch and try to finish off this year. So 4,000, still our best profit. And at the start of the year, it's just sort of waiting, because in some things they've finished buying what they can, and yeah, trader got eaten. So we wait for traders to come in and buy what they can buy. And it just takes some time for them to get here and show up. But otherwise, no problems. Housing all looking good. And still a bit of appeal issues on this end, but they're close to being maxed out. Lots of jade here waiting for you. Of course, the salt supply is good pretty much all the way around. Yeah, you haven't bought any of the jade yet this year, so you get in there and grab some of that and we'll be closer to our goal. Here comes a couple more. Some in, some out, but that was a nice set of purchases, and now we're less than 1,000. Oh boy, there we go. That spiked us to where we needed to be.
Humble administrator, your dexterity at managing the many aspects of a thriving city is only surpassed by your good sense of business savvy. Government control of this lucrative product will help to ensure the longevity of the mighty Zhou dynasty.
So we made it. I think it ended up being about 8.5 years, and this probably would have been a higher profit year the way it was going, but it is over and we get to move on to whatever is next.